Yolan True and welcome to another exciting day in our galaxy. And today I have another request video. Oh, Moogie, you always have something that takes me longer to make, but I will do it. And by the way, if you have video requests, you can always write a comment under the videos. I will see if I can, from the long list of videos I have still to make, that I can put yours a little bit higher on the list like I did with Moogie's video now. And he wants to see a video about mining crews. And there are a lot of different mining crews for different purposes. That's why I said he always has the ideas that take the longest. And I want to go through several of those mining crews with you so that you know what crews you can use for mining what and what exists at all. I know that I have a lot of viewers that just started playing the game and will not have seen most of it. And so for the future, you can have this video as a reference when you get new offices, what you can put together, what can help you in certain cases for certain materials and resources. And so we just get into it. I put a lot of crews on ships. I don't have enough docks to put them all on, but we get started with some. And I just start with my gas mining crew. I didn't want to locate, I want to manage. If you click on manage, when you click on your ship, you get to the ship. And there you see that I have 3 officers on the bridge. And my main gas mining officer is 3 of 11 because she increases gas mining speed by 90% and also increases protected cargo by 300%. It's not an officer you will have very early, but fortunately, you can get her at the moment with transporter patterns that help me getting her earlier. What you probably will have early as a gas mining officer, and I used her as captain for a long time, is T'Pring. She also increases the mining rate of the ship, but not by the same amounts as the Borg version of her. And she also gives protected cargo. The percentages always depend on the level of the officer. And with those two, especially because I'm using 3 of 11, I use 1 of 11 because it also gives protected cargo by 45% in my case. And that is my standard gas mining crew. Then let's go to my newest addition because he's new in transporter patterns, so I could get him. That is for crystal mining. Is 11 of 11 because the captain maneuver is 11 of 11, increases critical would be nice, crystal mining speed by 60% and also increases warp speed by 30%, so that ship will get there even faster. I've got a 3rd officer here on the bridge, but just for the purpose for a little bit later to show you how not to use him, so ignore him for that crew, but you can combine him with other mining officers here for protected cargo, for bigger cargo, and that's where we get to now when we go to my ore mining ship. And there I use 4 of 11 because 4 of 11 increases ore mining. The percentage again depends on the level. And increases cargo size by 40%. Increased cargo size is sometimes important as well when you are mining in token space or, for example, are using the amalgam in base rates. Then you can, per attack, get more stuff. And that's why you have to have a look out for those cargo enlargement offices as well. But as I said, he is the later version, the Borg version. You also need some time to get, and also he is in the transporter patterns at the moment. But for a long time before that, I used Ston, the human version of the Borg, and he also is an ore miner that increases the mining rate, and also he's a pack rat and increases the cargo size of the ship. And that's why I also have 2 of 11 here, because he would increase the cargo size as captain, but that's not that important. He increases the rate of crystal, gas, and ore mining by 55%. So you can use 2 of 11 when you have him with all different kinds of those ships that I'm showing you today. So for my T'Pring crew, you could use them, for the Stone crew, for the Barett crew that we're coming there in a second as well, because that's my first ship here, where I forgot to talk about Barett. So Barett is the non-Borg version of 11 and for the crystal mining raid. And in case of attack, he helps a bit as well, but if you're attacked by a warship with a miner, the most times, unless you have the ability on the horizon or the faction ships later that defend you better, that will not make that much of a difference. But you have a human and a Borg version of all the gas, ore, and crystal miners, which is good because you can have them 2 on one ship at the same time. But you also have officers that help you mine faster in general, or that help you with the protected cargo or with the cargo size of your ship. And they are also non-so specified officers, and let's have a look here on that ship. They are not special isogen mining officers. I just have the Meridian there at the moment. Just ignore that, because 10 of 11 increases the speed of power steel, titanium, and dilithium mining, which I don't do that often anymore. But he also has the officer ability of the Triple Mining Collective, and 10 of 11 increases the mining speed of the ship by 100%. So in general, it's not a specialized one. Then we have Dupont. He's a grade 3 miner. That means he increases the rate of G3 crystal, gas, and ore by mining 35% if you mine G3 stuff. And he has hidden stash. He increases the protected cargo by 50%. And that's why those two should be that way around. And protected cargo is a big thing, because whenever you are under your protected cargo, nobody can steal from you what you are mining. And so protected cargo officers are not to underestimate. And then I have Arok here on the bridge. Because of his officer ability, he increases mining speed by 30%. That's what I combine with the other 2 officers, because he increases this in general. If I'm going for the Monday mining event, for example, then I use him differently, because he also, as a captain, increases the mining speed when mining concentrated platinum by 6,500%. So put him on the captain's chair when you want to use the Devore feature and want to mine concentrated platinum. So for the new players, it doesn't make a difference for the Devore, but once you have the Devore feature later in the game and mine concentrated platinum, that will make a difference, but not for raw platinum. But he's quite a nice officer later for the concentrated platinum mining, and the rest of the time I just use him for the general bonus on the mining speed. I need to confirm that I just switched some seats. And then we come to more Ferengi, because I put those on my amalgam. And I put another officer there for a reason I will tell you in a second that has nothing to do with mining. I have Quark on my amalgam because his captain's ability is don't let them take anything. That's because he increases protected cargo by 98%. And his officer ability with increased mining speed by 80%. So he speeds that up as well. And then I give him some synergy from Kath. And that is not here for mining purposes. It's there for the synergy a little bit for Quark, because I don't have endless mining officers. But also I use the amalgam, of course, to get plundered cargo, and that's why I have him here. He gives a little bit of a boost in the fight against those miners I need to hunt for plundered cargo, and that's also why I have Bator here, When on the Amalgam, Betor boosts the Amalgam's bonus loot ship ability by 14%. And that's what I'm using with Betor. So you can see that this crew is not a complete mining crew. The only mining officer is Quark. You can use him on other ships as well, of course. But I've set it up at the moment for the Amalgam for getting plundered cargo. But there's another Ferengi you've seen on my first ship, which I put there on purpose. I could have gone the other way around as well, but okay. And that is Fess. If you are desperately in need for a captain who increases mining speed, you can use Fess. But he has a downside and should never be used the way I'm just put it here on that ship because of his officer abilities. And this cut corners if you need to, reduces protected cargo by 20%. So if you want to use him, you have to think about, is it worth getting this mining speed bonus by risking my protected cargo? Of course, you can do it if you, on most servers, it's protected in token spaces. So if you use a Ferengi token to mine in one of those spaces, you can use Fess, people won't attack you. But in a normal space, I would really think about it. Or for example, with most alliances that can get there, we have a gentleman's agreement in deep space that we're not killing OPC miners there because it's not that overcrowded that it needs to be. So there you could use Fess as well. But there are better officers for doing that. But as I said several times, I know I have viewers that have just started playing the game, and so I will I can do it more easily. I can do it that way. I will put it on group. There are mining officers you will get very early in the game, and not for gas or crystal, but for pasteel, tritanium, and for dilithium, like my little fur ball there, the Tribble Borg. And those are Helvia, Kibish, and Domitia. You get them in the beginning of the game, and Helvia is a pasteel miner, so in the beginning when you have to mine a lot of pasteel, I haven't mined pasteel in ages except for some of those quizzes they do sometime where you have to answer by mining, but otherwise I haven't done that in ages. But in the beginning of the game you will need it, and Helvia increases the mining rate of the ship by 40% when mining pasteel. And also, as long as the cargo of the ship is empty, she gives you a lot of more warp speed. And Kibish is there for tritanium. He increases the mining rate of the ship by 40% when mining tritanium. And also gives you some defense while you are on the node. And Domitia is the dilithium miner that you will have very early in the game. And then early in the game you will need her. And Domitia increases the mining rate of the ship by 40% when mining dilithium. And she's different to Helvia. As long as the cargo of the ship is full, she increases your warp speed. So with full cargo, you can go home very fast. And those three are the ones you need. Different one in the captain chair, whatever you need to do. But those three are the ones you need very early in the game to mine pasteel, tritanium, and dilithium. And you see that you can combine them with others for synergy as well. But there are also officers for special stuff. I talked about the plundered cargo, which is not real mining, but still using those officers there. But there are also some officers I quickly need to find because I couldn't put that many officers on ships. I told you about the concentrated latinum already, but there are also officers for isogen mining. And one of them, for example, is Irium. She's an isogen miner, and she increases the mining speed of isogen by 40%. So if you put her on your ship for mining isogen, she speeds that up. And if you put her on the Meridian, it will be faster. And she's a cybernetic tactician. That means when she's on a capture node, she can put burning on an enemy ship. Never use her for that, usually because I use different crews, but that's another ability. Has nothing to do with mining, but there she has a different use. But you can use her as an isogen miner. And now I forgot I never honestly do that because the other ones are that fast already that I'm not thinking about this. But there are a few more. But as you can see, I don't know if Goon was one. No, that was a different one. As you can see, there are mining crews for all different purposes. And if you use IREM, for example, you can give her some officers for protected cargo with her, or some officers from her own group to give her some synergy for her mining speed. That's all up to you. But you see that there are different mining crews for different purposes. And I'm not talking about mycelium mining. I never do that. The Sunday Discovery event is enough to get all the mycelium you will need in this game. I never mined mycelium outside of an event that told me to, but otherwise I never did that. I always get it from the weekly event, and that's more than enough. So I don't mind that, and I don't think that you will have to mine that very often as well. But as you saw in the video, there are a lot of different mining crews for different purposes. Of course, yeah, I can discard that. There can on different ships. I put this is my first faction crystal miner. This is my second faction gas miner. This is my second faction ore miner, and the Meridian. And the amalgam. I'm even mining with the amalgam. And there's one more thing where you have to think about an officer, I must not forget, and that is when you mine with a ship that is not a mining ship. But I have to go back here because it's skipping again. And just click the below deck ability for the sorting. We have Tuvok here. And if you put him below deck, and there are other officers for below deck as well that you can use, but this one is essential. He increases your ship's cargo capacity by 150% of base if your ship is the USS Voyager. So when you mine anomalies with the Voyager, you must have Tuvok below deck so you don't waste entry tokens for those spaces, because he gives you a much bigger cargo. You can, of course, combine him with other cargo enhancing officers, and then you spend a token for much more anomaly samples than you would get with a normal Voyager cargo. That's why I shouldn't forget Tuvok. I had that down on my papers, but I almost forgot mentioning that, but he's important as well. That's why I have him on one ship. As you saw, he's on ship C, and I use him and I use the Voyager there to do that. And that's the best example, again, what you see right there on the screen. It's still happening at the moment that on the iPad the game crashes like hell, and making videos has become harder as well because of that. And making waves is absolutely impossible for me on that one. That's why I always have to make the waves on the desktop, and I just showed you short parts of it in the videos, which I'm filming on the iPad for that screen there. And they really have to work on the iOS version. And it's gotten a little bit better, but since it was really bad when the new arc started, but it's still not nice playing there. And for the important stuff I always have to switch to the desktop, but I would like to sit on my sofa and play the game and not on my desk. But at my desk. On my desk would be funny as well. But nevertheless, let me know if you have any questions, as I said, and requests. Mugi, I hope you're satisfied with your answers on your question on the mining crews, because you always forget using them, as I understood it. There were combinations you can get. I know that you have access to transporter patterns, so if there were some officers that you don't have yet, Mugi, use your transporter patterns. There you can get a lot of them at the moment. Transporter patterns, you might have seen my video on this, by the way, everyone. They are changing from time to time. Now they recently added 2 more officers. They might completely shuffle them around at some point, so we will see how this continues. Right now I have all the officers on that list, so I don't need to get another one urgently there. I just can think about saving the transporter patterns when they shuffle, or upgrade officers I already have. So that's a question I still have to answer for myself. But if you want another of your question answered, YouTube has chosen another video for you right here in the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.